Hey everyone, Brett Mix here, Macho Wrestling 101. Welcome back to the Monday Night Wars. This is week 15, December the 18th, 1995. This is the 140th episode of Monday Night Raw. This took place from the Bob Carpenter Center in Newark, Delaware. Ratings were 2.7 to 2.3 in favor of Nitro this week, with Nitro scoring the latter of 2.7. So after this week's loss, the scoreboard now is 6 wins for Monday Night Raw, 7 losses to Nitro, 2 draws all time through the 15 weeks of the war, including this week. So this is the Raw that lost to Nitro by 0.4, and it did a 2.3 in the ratings. Again, it was 2.7 to 2.3 for Nitro. So this Raw did a 2.3. McMahon and King are on commentary. Let's take a look. Jeff Jarrett took on Fatu to open things up. Double J is back, and they show him hit Ahmed Johnson in the head with a guitar from the night before. This is the night after In Your House season's beatings. They preview their Rumble match as they showed the Ahmed and Double J video package. Jeff Jarrett with the future Rikishi now, and he's dancing even though it's pre-Rikishi days. He's the Fatu character. He danced around with like him as well. Fatu with some offense to Double J and then struts around like Jeff Jarrett to mock him. A hard right, then Double J dodges Fatu in the corner with a swinging neck breaker. McMahon says Jarrett is the first man to ever enter the Royal Rumble. And I've watched that Rumble a lot. I can't remember Double J in the 1996 Royal Rumble. He might have been, I just don't recall it. We'll have the answer to that in a moment. They tell us why on the show. Other than his opening match with Ahmed Johnson, I've got a pretty good memory. Either way, that's what I wrote on my notes. Either way, this was a month before that, so things might have changed, and they did. Like I said, I'll get to that in a moment. Fatu tossed to the turnbuckle. McMahon says we'll have an update on HBK's career tonight. A snapmare by Double J to Fatu with a power slam. Fatu with a huge clothesline to Jarrett and only gets a 2. Fatu with a running inverted neck breaker, and then his shoulder was sore and injured. So Fatu had his shoulder rammed first right into the buckle by Double J. And then Double J went to go lock on the figure 4, but Ahmed Johnson came to the ring and he started hitting him. So Double J won by DQ at 5:47. Decent at best. A star in 3/4. So In Your House season's beating was the night before. Brett retained the title. Also, Diesel went face-to-face with The Undertaker backstage to close the show because Taker's #1 contender at the Royal Rumble for the title, for Brett's title. So Diesel wasn't happy with that, so Diesel went face-to-face. And McMahon re-showed that face-to-face interaction. And McMahon and Doc Hendricks talk with Gorilla Monsoon. And because the Royal Rumble will be historic, Monsoon answers my earlier question about Double J not being in the Rumble. He said Double J will be at the Royal Rumble, but not in the Rumble. He'll just face Ahmed Johnson in a singles match. So I knew that he was never in that Rumble. Good to know my memory is still correct and I'm not losing my mind. Because I remember Double J, I've watched that 96 Rumble a lot, and I do not remember him ever appearing. But we just answered that question. Gorilla Monsoon said he wasn't. So, yeah, I knew he wasn't, even though he entered his name in there. Lundell comes out with Flair hair, Flair robe, and even Flair's entrance theme. So that was pretty funny. Whoever thought Holly would get off the name Sparkplug, I don't know. But Bob Holly got rights and lefts and returned the favor. Arm drag takedown into a hammerlock by Buddy Lundell with a knee to the gut. An armbar, he reversed, dropped Holly with the clothesline. Bob Holly into the buckle hard. Lundell worked on him with hard rights, grounding him. Stomping on him on the canvas floor. Then sent to the buckle, a hard chop. Holly goes down, dishes rights out himself, but Buddy Lundell gets the best of it, hitting a drop to hold into an STF. Holly Irish whipped and hit a back body drop, a camel clutch by Lundell. Holly hits a DDT to Buddy Lundell out of nowhere, but he gets a 2 count. Buddy Lundell hits a side suplex of the bridge, and at 6:51, he wins at 2 stars and a quarter. Buddy Lundell, the victor. Razor Ramon next defends the World Wrestling Federation Intercontinental Championship against Yokozuna, who has Mr. Fuji and Jim Cornette in his corner. Razor Ramon body slammed Yoko, and then Razor goes to work on the left shoulder. Goldust comes out and he sits in his director's chair with the guy that gives the notes for Goldust. What's his name? He's in a red attire with like a hat, and he's like Goldust's deliverer for notes, and Goldust sent a note to Razor Ramon. We'll see what he wrote a little bit later on in this review. Razor Ramon moves out of the way just in the nick of time as an arm wringer by Yoko. Yoko charged, missed him in the turnbuckle. Razor Ramon led out rights and lefts to the head of Yokozuna. Yoko then tripped up Razor and gets him in a trap lock, holds the trapezius muscle. That's one of Yokozuna's fortes as the fans chant for Razor Ramon. Ramon in the hold wearing down, and eventually he gets his power back by sitting up. Ramon runs into a hard clothesline by Yoko. Yokozuna almost dropped by Razor Ramon as he keeps landing blows. Eventually a hard right makes him fall. A cover and a near fall. McMahon says he got him. No, he didn't. Again. Commercial break and they come back. Goldust still watching Ramon from his director's chair by the Raw stage. Razor Ramon hammers on the midsection of Yokozuna, and Yokozuna hammers back. Off the top rope, Razor Ramon hits a flying bulldog. The lights then flicker in and out. The Undertaker comes to the ring. Yokozuna runs away from the ring and up the entrance aisle as the lights flicker on and off, as Undertaker keeps chasing him around. Undertaker just walks, though, like a zombie. Razor Ramon ends up winning by countout, retaining the title at 8:46. As Taker chased out Yokozuna, I give it a 1.5 stars. King then tells McMahon that HBK won't be back. Then they produce a video with HBK called Tell Me a Lie. That's the name of the song. I'm sure people have seen it. It's been online for a long time. McMahon says there will not be a Raw next week, but the next week afterward there will be, and it'll be a Raw Bowl. Yes, McMahon going back to the NFL. You could tell these XFL roots. Just he loved capitalizing on the NFL Super Bowl that takes place in late January, early February. So the first Raw of January 1996 is going to be a Raw Bowl with 8 competitors. King says he's going to wear his Cleveland Browns jerseys. King's a notorious Cleveland fan. Cleveland Indians, Cleveland Browns. Doc Hendricks interviews Razor and says Goldust sent him a letter telling him he wants him in the letter, and Razor says he only likes women. I don't care, man. I only like women. And he says, you can be you, but not with me. And Doc Hendricks says, can you say what else the letter says? And he says, well, no, I can tell you backstage. There's children watching. I can't tell them. So obviously Goldust made a sexual innuendo there. King talks about the Raw Bowl in 2 weeks, and they go off the air. So they won't have a Raw on Christmas Day. They take that week off. So my reviews are going to go like this. We're going to skip next week's Nitro. I'm going to talk about it in my review of the Nitro after. And I'm going to skip next week, and then I'm going to go. So this is the 15th week of the Wars. The best way to say is this. This is the 15th week of the Wars. I will not do the 16th week until Raw faces Nitro again. I'm only reviewing the Wars whenever they head to head. If one of them takes the night off, then I take the night off too with that. I don't review that show. I only review when they go head to head. So the 16th week, it'll be 2 Raws from now because Raw's going off for a week. So it's not going to be week 16 next review. It'll be it will be week 16 next review, but not next week. 2 weeks from now, it'll be week 16 because that's when they go head-to-head. Raw's not on the next week. This episode was a 4 out of 10 quality rating-wise. It had nothing of substance to write home about. Ratings-wise, this WWF loses again 2.7 to 2.3, a 0.4 beating by Nitro, 400K more viewers. So the scoreboard looks like this. Again, after 15 weeks through the war, 6 wins by Raw, 7 wins by Nitro, and 2 draws. So that's where it stands going into week 16. Again, Raw is missing its Christmas episode, so they're skipping Christmas. Nitro still has an episode, and I believe it drew a 2.5. But then we are skipping. So the next Raw review I do will be in January of 1996. I think it's January 1st or 2nd. And I'll be posting it right next to the Nitro from that same week. All right, thanks for watching this review, and as always, they're always archived for whenever people want to watch them. I'm Brett Mix, and I'm out.